Welcome to Business Review, a daily program that delves into the latest and most significant economic stories, from stock markets to currency news. Business Review covers the most up-to-date developments in the global financial world.
The General Confederation of Italian Industry, commonly known as Confindustria, predicted the country's GDP will shrink by 10% in 2020, setting the country's economic development back 23 years. Confindustria made the prediction in its latest report on Saturday. The organization forecasts 4.8% economic growth in the next year, not considering the government's budget for the new fiscal year and EU funds. The report also predicts the employment rate will drop 1.8%, which means the country will shed about 410,000 jobs. Confindustria believes whether or not the government can make good use of recovery funds provided by the EU and other accessible funds to offset the impact of COVID-19 outbreak will become a watershed in the future trend of the Italian economy. Italy on Saturday reported an additional 5,724 confirmed cases of COVID-19 over the previous 24 hours, its biggest one-day jump in confirmed COVID-19 cases since March.
Hubei, the worst-hit province in China by the COVID-19 pandemic, received 52.28 million visitors during the 8-day national holiday that ended Thursday and earned 34.8 billion yuan, respectively 82.74% and 72.26% of the figures of last year. According to the provincial touristic enterprises, despite the recession from the pandemic in China, the province's tourism industry is improving. Many scenic spots turned out special programs for holidaymakers and improved services to them. Starting October the 1st, the first day of the holiday, the provincial capital put up a light show for visitors, and the tower provided evening tours for the public for the first time since it was built in 1985. These activities enlivened the tourist industry, which was heavily struck by COVID-19. Statistics show that Wuhan received 18.82 million visitors during the holiday. Nationwide, there were 637 million domestic tourist visits during the holiday. 79% were local trips taken in the same period last year, according to the Ministry of Culture and Tourism. Domestic tourism revenue during the 8-day break reached 466 billion yuan, 69.9% of that of last year.
The People's Republic of China, China's central bank, announced Saturday that it will reduce forward foreign exchange risk reserve requirement ratio to zero starting from Monday. Since the beginning of this year, the RMB exchange rate has been floating in both directions based on market supply and demand, with greater elasticity, stable market expectations, orderly cross-border capital flows, steady operation of the foreign exchange market, and balanced market supply and demand. The bank announced for the next step, the People's Bank of China will continue to sustain the elasticity of RMB exchange rate, stabilize market expectations, and keep the RMB exchange rate basically stable at an appropriate and balanced level.
Qantas flight to nowhere jetted off and returned to Sydney on Saturday, October the 10th, taking 150 travellers on a full-day sightseeing trip over some of Australia's most iconic landmarks. Dubbed the Great Southern Land Scenic Flight, the Qantas 787 Dreamliner, typically used for long-haul journeys, flew at low levels over landmarks Uluru, the Great Barrier Reef, and Sydney Harbour. The airline said the journey sold out in 10 minutes, with tickets costing between 787 and 3,787 Australian dollars, depending on the seating class. With most commercial routes grounded and international travel curbed by the pandemic, the scenic flight concept is aimed to help boost the ailing airline sector. The concept of scenic flights is not new. Antarctica Flights has chartered Qantas jets for scenic flights over Antarctica for the last 26 years. According to the Association of Asia Pacific Airlines, tough border restrictions have led to a 97.5% plunge in international travel in the region. Qantas posted a net loss.
Chinese bank card operator UnionPay and Chinese online payment clearing house Nets Union Clearing Corporation, or the NUCC, released holiday spending data respectively on Friday, with the two major trading networks handling a total of nearly 10 trillion yuan in online payments over the 8-day National Day holiday. The amount of China UnionPay's network transactions reached 2.52 trillion yuan, with an average daily increase of 8.3% over the figure during last year's National Day holiday. The NUCC handled 7.23 trillion yuan in transaction, with the average daily growth rate of 47% year-on-year. Shopping, travel, tourism and catering were the main forms of consumption during the National Day holiday period. According to China UnionPay, Jiangsu Province in East China, Shaanxi Province in North China, and Gansu Province in Northwest China saw the fastest growth in shopping spending, with an average daily growth of more than 17% over the same period last year. Data from the NUCC also show that the average daily transaction value of some live streaming video platforms during the holiday was up 52% from the same period last year.
The annual olive harvest season is a major economic, social, and cultural event for the Palestinians. While the season arrives this year on the Gaza Strip, carrying with it the promise of livelihood, goodness, and giving to the people of Gaza, in light of the difficult economic conditions they are suffering, amid expectations that this season's production will decrease than last year. As this year comes in light of the spread of the coronavirus, which affected a large number of farmers in several directions.
The olive tree helps the economy and the renaissance of the Palestinian farmer in the Gaza Strip, where he waits for the olive season from year to another in order to sell the oil and pay part of his dues. And it is the only tree left to support the poor families in the Strip who need the growth of the economy.
The owner of an oil mill in the center of the Gaza Strip says that the quantities expected to be found in the market are likely to be about 30% less than last year.
Olive oil has great benefits for the person's body. We are the largest oil mill in the Gaza Strip, and our work relies on the oil season the entire year.
In addition, the Ministry of Agriculture in Gaza indicated that the coming years will reach continuous self-sufficiency as a result of the increase in the areas planted with productive olive trees.
We're talking of a production area over 33 acres, 24,000 tons of olives that are transferred to the oil mills. We are talking of an economic season that witnessed the employment of a great number of workers in different sectors, which resulted in improving the economic situation for the Palestinian farmer, citizens, and employees.
It is expected that the price of a tank of oil will reach the citizen from 85 to 90 dinars, depending on the type of olives that are squeezed, indicating that there are 3 types of olives related to the quality of the oil. The best of the kinds is the Siri olive, and this type is witnessing a great demand by citizens for its oil. Then in the second class is the Shamalani olives, and the third is K18. Moreover, Gazan olives are considered one of the best types in the world, and the oil is exported from it to many Arab countries. In contrast, the general population of Palestinians awaits for this season because of their urgent needs to obtain the olive oil for the enormous health benefits it contains. For KTV2, this is Business Review Program, Yumna Syed, Gaza, Palestine. This has been Business Review, your daily source for the most critical financial stories. Tune in next time for the latest financial news impacting the world economy.